Hey guys, Sean Bougie, surplusfundsriches.net. Today we're going to talk about the top 5 things not discussed. The top 5, let's call them issues with surplus funds recovery, the surplus funds recovery industry, and how you need to deal with that. You need to know the truth about surplus funds, and there are 5 things that are extremely important. Number 5, you've heard from me before if you've watched any of my videos, okay? And that is, you have to check debt. Surplus funds are created when a property sells for more money than the foreclosing entity is owed. For instance, if it's a tax sale because people haven't sold, or rather paid, their real estate taxes, and they owe $3,000 in real estate taxes and it sells for $30,000, typically there's approximately a $27,000 overage owed to the ex-owner. If it's a foreclosure, Bank of America, and they're owed $200 and it sells for $300, typically the ex-owner is owed that extra $100. Except if there was additional debt, if there was a second mortgage, an equity line, a lien against the property, something like that, that has a priority claim to the surplus funds, and they have their claim in front of the ex-owner. So if you don't check debt, you don't know what the owner's actually owed. I know these guys online are telling you that you get a list, you call the person, you make a deal, and that's it. You turn in a claim form and you're done. That's not how it works, guys. You got to check debt, otherwise you're going to be chasing stuff that you can't actually collect. Number 4, skip tracing is an art, okay? You're not going to find these guys by using free online search systems. You've got to have that system down. Now, with a couple of our programs, depending on which one you purchase, we'll do that for you. You can actually partner up with us. We'll find them. We'll get a hold of them and their possible relatives and associates. We'll mail them, not only just them, but their possible relatives and associates, and do the same thing with calls. It's an art form to find people, and they have been foreclosed upon, and they don't just stay in the house. They move, they leave no forwarding address. It takes them a while to set up a checking account so there's a credit header doesn't come up on them. So it's a little more difficult to find them. So skip tracing is an art. We'll take care of that with you if you want to buy one of our programs where we give a partnership option. Number 3, not all these deals are going to work out, guys. Just because you can reach them and tell them about it and put a deal together, that doesn't mean they're all going to work out. There's certain states that are retirement states where we have a pretty high level of deceased. Maybe 5% of the people you're contacting are deceased. Keep in mind that 78% of people 65 years and older own a home, versus it's in, I believe, the 30% or 38% range for the younger generation that's purchased homes. So you've got a higher chance that somebody died. Also, sometimes people do make a claim. Sometimes people do beat you to the punch. There is some competition. We get by that simply because we offer an upfront buyout. We give 10% of the gross amount being held by the court to the owner as good faith money, and whatever else we agree to on the back end. So we lock them down and use attorneys, and we do it a lot different than anybody else out there. We're the only ones using a structured buyout. We're the only ones using attorneys on every single deal, regardless of the state statute. Number 2, having said that, number 2, there are finder caps in some states. That's why some of these programs out there are telling you to not even work certain places, because the most you can make is too low. There are some areas where you're capped out at $2,000, even if it's a $100,000 retrieval. So you got to know which states to work. With our system, because we're using a structured buyout, that means we participate in the retrieval, and we're using an attorney as well. Because we participate in the retrieval, we don't fall under any of those finder caps. That's a pretty big deal. Number 1. The number 1 thing you're not being told is there are surplus funds that don't appear on any list. None. These funds can only be found by identifying property in a mortgage foreclosure situation, identifying property that sold for more money than what was owed to the entity. You still have to double check debt, but using this proprietary system we've come up with, it's a new program we're launching January the 1st, 2023, available for 1 day for $397. You got to register to make sure you can get it at that price. But we're doing that for 1 day, and we are going to be teaching you guys how to go after overages that don't appear in any list. Nobody else is doing that. That is the number 1 secret out there.